Let's be honest, when someone says young South African man these days, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? He's broke, he has a baby mama, he's insecure, he's a taxi driver with a vrpa moment, or maybe he's the type of guy to tell you, I'm pushing this side, I'm hustling, while still asking his grandma for taxi money. And don't even get me started on the default outfit he always wears. The slides, the socks, and shorts so tight, you would swear he borrowed them from his little sister. So can we really blame anyone for not trusting South Africa's young men anymore? Well, that's why I want to unpack this layer by layer, like the endless combo of kota ingredients choking the future of this country. Let's start like this, shall we? The youth of this country were meant to be the future leaders, the ones who'd carry this rainbow nation to its pot of gold like the leprechauns we always were. Instead, they're carrying empty Castle light bottles and vibes. So I'm sure you're asking yourself, how? But what happened? Where did it all go wrong? Well, you see, stats don't lie. South Africa's youth unemployment sits at over 60%, one of the highest in the world. That is not just an economic stat, that is an indictment. Half the young men who were supposed to grow into strong role models are stuck indoors watching Skeem Sam reruns, yelling at the screen with a can of Mo Fire like they would have made better life decisions than T-Boss. So let me clarify. This isn't just laziness, right? It's systemic. Apartheid crippled opportunities, then democracy came and failed to create enough new ones, and then TikTok came and made things worse with challenges like how to pretend you're successful while your mom is shouting at you for not washing the dishes. So yeah, true masculinity is in danger in this country. And when I say in danger, I don't mean that small, cute, harmless danger you can just brush to the side or sweep under the rug. No, I mean the Spusiso Lawrence type of danger. I'm talking the Thabo Bester type of danger. So much danger, it's only a matter of time before we have a real-life David Gennaro. May his soul rest in peace. You don't believe me? Look around. Masculinity used to be about discipline, leadership, protecting others, basic stuff like that. Now it's just gym selfies, renting Lamborghinis, making music videos on YouTube, being childish for clout, and toxic podcasts. If you think young men are misunderstood, just wait until you hear them debate on why paying for a date is oppression. Or wait until you hear them say worse things like Spusiso Lawrence was right in slaughtering his girlfriend like a live chicken and then posting it and her body and justifying his actions on Facebook. And can we talk about how some of these young men are obsessed with people far above them like Andrew Tate, for example? They'll quote him like he's their economics teacher. The Matrix is after us, gents. Meanwhile, the only Matrix you've passed was the one on Netflix. Listen here, Bafetu. Obama Mandela didn't spend 27 years in prison for you to play PlayStation 5, watch Andrew Tate all day and call yourself oppressed. And if you think for a second I might be lying and I might be capping that no one trusts young men in South Africa anymore, then ask the young women in this country. All the ladies watching this, you remember your South African ex? What was he like? I'm sure he was sweet, wasn't he? Always checking on you, always paying for the dates, always giving you money or something, always willing to listen to you. He never gave you problems, did he? Oh, come on now. I'm sure he wasn't insecure, checking on your phone and giving death threats to every dude who texted you or who would look at you in the street for like 2 seconds. I'm sure he'd never do that. I'm sure he'd never raise a hand on you or suspecting you were cheating on him. I mean, how could you leave someone so sweet, ladies? Just enlighten me. But being serious now, South African men have been dishing out heartbreaks like it's Stokvel money. It's consistent, unpredictable, and never-ending. Yes, even more heartbreaks than the amount of seasons of Seven Dilan. And that's when you know it's serious. You must take notes from history. Back in the day, Hugh Masekela used to write love songs. Now, your SA young men are sliding into DMs with what you doing at 2 a.m. when she's knocked out cold in bed. And when she actually does reply, they'll ghost her faster than South African Airlines postpones flights. And the worst thing isn't even that. The worst thing is that the only commitment they'll actually show is updating their WhatsApp status to hustler vibes. The young men of this country have been set up for failure by some of their supposed role models. For example, you've got DJ Spoo out here selling muti like energy drinks. Casper Nyovest is always starting beef he doesn't finish. And then Andy Lempisane, let's not even go there. I mean, how can you take advice from someone whose biggest achievement is being rich because their mom owns a football club? Bruv, instead of teaching young men how to hustle, our celebs are out here doing things that even Mzansi Magic wouldn't script. Some of these things are so fake. Even Somizi would say, "Aye, that's too much drama." Like some of these YouTube videos I'm seeing with all these famous essay YouTubers you love to watch so much, all these ghost pranks. I can see the fakeness in these videos. I can see it staged because it's not the first time they do the videos, and they do it with the same people that fell for the prank the first time. If you fell for a prank the first time, correct me if I'm wrong, how can you fall for it again? Just asking. So yes, that's the type of role models male South Africans have now. I'm sure you're asking yourself, but there's guys like Summer Sambed, of course, why don't they watch him? Look how many subscribers I have. Then look at how many subscribers all those other guys have. That will answer your question. You've got all these male musicians, some leaving us with actual good music, but also toxic ideas of masculinity wrapped up in these super mega sized egos. So where are the positive male influences in this country? Oh wait, I know. Most of them are too busy avoiding child support payments, posting themselves on Instagram, and starting trends on Twitter. Got it. And let's not act like we don't know that South Africa's political landscape hasn't done young men any favors either. Because I get it, okay? It's hard to trust young men when their role models are people like Bheki Cele, who wears more hats than he solves crimes, Jacob Zuma, who probably has more children than he can actually remember, and Ace Magashule, whose belly is bigger than even a pregnant woman with triplets. So here's a tip for young men aspiring to politics. Take this from Summer Sambit. Number one, don't model yourself after the current bunch, right? You're not a struggle icon because you struggle to pay your NSFAS fees. And no, Umalusi Kigaba isn't a role model either just because he also has an active Instagram account. The lack of integrity in leadership has trickled down to the youth. If politicians can lie about even state funds, why can't these young guys lie about owning cars when they're taking taxis? So how do we rebuild trust in South Africa's young men? Well, it's not easy, but it's possible. Number one, take notes. Fix education. Fix your system. Encourage actual education, not soft life aspirations I'm seeing these days. Teach young men about integrity, discipline, financial literacy, not forex scamming and pyramid schemes and other nonsensical things YouTubers tell them nowadays. Number two, role models like me. You need role models like me, men who live by values, not vibes. Right? This doesn't mean recruiting more motivational speakers who will scream, "Wake up at 5 a.m. when most young guys don't even sleep because of load shedding. Right? Number three is self-reflection. Young men, you need to stop blaming feminism, the government, your parents, or whatever else to why you're not successful. You can't expect to build trust when your Instagram bio says trust nobody but yourself. You know what I'm saying? Number four, accountability. If you've made mistakes, own them. South Africa doesn't need more excuses. We have enough potholes. Please, take action. Alright? Hustle. Stop telling yourself you'll hustle tomorrow when even ESCOM doesn't trust you with power today. What gasses me up though is some of the ridiculous excuses young men give for their behavior. The economy is bad. Really now? So bad that you can afford data bundles to argue on Twitter every day with a random stranger. Women are too independent now, Summer. Hey man, so you're upset because she owns a car and you don't even own a charger? No, but you don't get it, man. We're misunderstood. You know who else was misunderstood? Zuma, when he said Nkandla was a gift. It didn't make him right, did it? And then there's the ultimate excuse they love to give. It's because of apartheid. Listen, apartheid was brutal, but it didn't force you to spend your rent money on Yeezys now, did it? And you want to know what's even funnier? Most of the guys that give this excuse were born long after apartheid. They were born long after it. So educate me, gents. What does that have to do with any of the shortcomings, like not being able to get yourself a decent job or even take her on a decent date? Don't get me wrong though. We all thought we made it in 1994, am I right? 1994! Ah, you're playing, my man. Mandela was out, the future was bright, and young men were expected to lead the charge into the next chapter of greatness. But instead, by 2025, what do we have? Most young men were leading, alright. TikTok dance challenges, that is. Somewhere between democracy and now, things just went sideways. So how did feminism, hustle culture, and soft life all infiltrate so deeply? Well, you see, back in the day, guys were fighting for freedom. Now they're fighting for likes and views. Democracy gave us freedom, they say. But what good is freedom when you're using it to DM "Hey stranger" to your ex from high school who probably forgot you existed on the second year you were with her? South Africa's young men are at crossroads. You've got two options. One, continue down the path of broken trust, or rise above the stereotypes, the memes, and the excuses. Nobody is asking you here to become a hero overnight, right? You start by actually showing up. backing what you preach. Stop talking about trust if you're not willing to be trustworthy yourself. And so the ladies watching, thank you for the patience you actually have for these clout-chasing morons. I mean, really, the patience you ladies have for these men who lie to you more than even Cyril Ramaphosa and tell you Nyaktanda more than Kanye Mbau has had boyfriends is simply incredible. You truly deserve a Grammy, a round of applause for that. The trust you have for these men, because wow, how can you settle for that when there's guys like me out there? I mean, trust me, even guys like me are rooting for these lazy boys to turn things around. But if they don't, well, we can't force them, and hey, at least you'll have something to laugh at. But seriously, to the young men or young man watching this, it's time to rebuild, chief. Alright, time to lock in. No more sliding into her DMs, replying to each and every one of her posts on her WhatsApp status. It's enough now. Stop it. Because right now, your reputation is worse than Eskom's load shedding schedule. And that's saying something.